Pisces. Hi Pisces, welcome to your September reading. I began shuffling as it was counting down on the camera. And I got a bit, your cards are being a bit strange. We've got 2 cards at top, 2 cards at the bottom. Okay, interesting. So guys, we are just leaving Venus in retrograde. It's going direct, I think, on the 2nd. Don't quote me on it. I'm not particularly great at dates at the moment. But we also have Mercury retrograde and Uranus, retrograding too. So the energy, as always, is a little bit all over. Your cards, I told ya, this is the first reading where they started being a little bit... so many. So guys, as I was saying, Venus is starting to go direct. I'm finding that the readings are kind of all looking as though during September, love is kind of being injected back into our lives a little bit more. It might have felt a little bit there in terms of relationships and love, that it was either lacking or chaotic. Again, there's reasons for this, obviously, but I'm finding this getting a little bit nicer as we step into September, and I think that's why there's been a lot of focus on these readings that I've been doing this for everyone this month. Is a lot about love and relationships. But let's see, Pisces, let's see what's in store for you. So we start off with this column is, that's what I was going to say. This column is of self. This column represents you and your energy. The next column represents love and relationships. And the final column is outcomes or potential outcomes, to get the best favorable outcome, basically. Advice on that. So you are my final videos, and I have my son right next to me with a little noise of his iPad, so hopefully it's not too much of a distraction. So your first card is spend more time outdoors, and then in reverse, romance angels are helping you. So exactly what I was just saying, we're getting an injection of love. Loving that. Now the more time outdoors is basically have a little bit more fun, get out. It's like kind of like saying enough of being an introvert, let's get that social butterfly back out, but it's just about dipping your toes in. Literally spend more time in nature. Here in Australia, it's becoming summer, or spring even, so everything's warming up. Just being out in that sun is kind of igniting that love, gets you out of that winter kind of bare hibernation mode, and that's the vibe that card gives every time it comes out. It's like, go sit outside under the sun or the stars, and just allow nature to inspire you, really. So again, going on walks and things like that. The fact you have romance angel are helping you alongside this is basically saying that you are supported and you are loved by your spirit team and by people around you. So it's really, really positive. This is why it's giving me social vibes. I do feel like it's a good time for you to get out and enjoy yourself, and potentially maybe you've been shutting yourself away from people, and it's guiding you to start embracing people again, specifically people that you love and want to spend quality time with. And this could be, again, outdoors, think barbecues or outdoor events, I guess, house parties, have a few friends and family around, just to allow you to just kind of enjoy their company. The next card is in reverse. Again, actually all of your cards from now on are reversed. This could be a very important reading for you in terms of this stuff that they want you to pay attention to, which is this entire reading. Guided and protected. Guarded and protected, sorry. This card sort of comes when... potentially it could come with it's the need to guard and protect yourself, but I feel like you are very guarded and protected in self for some reason. This is giving me that energy where I said it felt like you've been kind of introverted and separate from people, and I feel like this is saying like you are very guarded and protected right now. Like it's time for you to allow yourself again to lessen the shield so that you're allowing the good stuff in. Sometimes when we're healing, we kind of put the walls up and we keep everybody out, and it's necessary. We need to do that because we feel this need to retreat, because that's the healing that we need. And you should honor and respect that. But it comes to a point where sometimes we do that for so long, because we needed it for such a long time, that then when we are in a space that we're ready to start, opening up like a butterfly, it's hard to break down those walls. It's the protection. It's kept you safe. It's kind of becomes a natural habit because you have done it for quite some time. So be kind to yourself as well with this. but understand that it might be time for you to stop putting that protective shield over your heart, because it is keeping you from, again, the good stuff. The next two cards we have be gentle with yourself and make a commitment, and it is literally exactly what I just said. Be gentle for yourself is kind of nurture yourself, be kind, understand that you are, like in this imagery, you are this little lamb who needs to be nurtured and protected. We all are this vulnerability. We all have that vulnerable potential. And in this card, the angel is, protecting, shielding this lamb from any harm, taking care of it like a mum. Alright, this is what you need to do for yourself. Be kind to yourself and understand why you needed to be guarded and protected. When we do that for ourselves and we understand ourselves from a very authentic level, we can then be gentle and, again, start slowly allowing people in, but in a way that honors who we are as well. But make a commitment. It's like, this is me saying, like, make a commitment to start the process. And again, this could be a slow process for you. I'm not saying, like, literally plan something for tomorrow and get outside. This can be a slow process of you, again, slowly accepting social invites or just sending a message to people who might have been worrying about you for some time. And again, they just have stopped the contact because you just weren't in a space to continue a contact. And I think that we are very much in a time where this is happening a lot. We all got burnt out with social media and our lives just being constant on, where you have to respond to messages immediately and all this. We kind of come into a space now where people are not doing that. I am the embodiment of this. I do not reply to messages. I don't talk to anyone. I needed that to heal. And I'm still in that process now. Like, I just cannot do the small talk and I can't communicate a lot. I can't keep putting in effort with people. I stopped making any effort, and I'm now probably in the space that I can literally read this for myself, but I'm not a Pisces. It is my North Node, but I'm not a Pisces. What I'm saying is, like, it's happening to a lot of people. There's a lot of that energy out there. So again, understanding that it's not just you going through that, but reaching out and making those first steps, I think, is needed when we are ready. Because it shows the world, again, it shows people that we care about, that again we're ready to start mending the bonds that may have been stretched, because again you just needed time, and that's perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with it, and there's no need for an apology, I believe, unless there's a need for an apology. Hopefully you know that. I do think, Pisces, you might be very stubborn on apologies. So again, own who you are and see yourself. Be kind and gentle to yourself, and know what you need to do, but make a commitment again to start reaching out, to start again choosing what's in your best interest. And I do think that this is in your best interest, again, to start slowly allowing your guard to drop and reconnecting with the world, with your world. Okay, this is about you and your world, and not anything outside of yourself, beyond who you want in your circle, your family, your friends, who deserve to be in that circle too. Now, this middle column is relationship or love or matters of the heart. I'm not sure how this is going to come through to you until I read it, but the first card is energy healing work. So this is saying you are healing, you're going through this, so be kind to yourself and continue on with that healing, which is why you're being urged to be gentle with yourself as you come out of that hibernation period. Again, in Australia, we're coming out of winter into summer, so again, it is, at least for myself, this is how I am. I really do get into some kind of weird hibernation mode, that when spring hits the air, all of a sudden, all the productivity kind of energy starts tingling on my outside of me, where I'm like, I need to do this, I'm going to do that, and it starts inspiring me to again start putting myself out in the world. And this is the energy I'm getting here. But again, you're still healing, you're still going through it. This is the next phase of it. So in terms of love and relationships, it very much well is probably that if you're in a relationship, you've been healing throughout the whole of this. If it's been a new one, and when I say new, like a year or two, if you came into this in a space of healing where you are still healing, and so today you are still in that space, but you are again next phasing now, so expect your relationships to alter and change, because again you are becoming into a much more, I want to say a much more better phase, because I feel as though you've gone through the hardest of your healing, right? But again, relationships adapts to us as we come into a different state of being as well. which can have positive or negative outcomes. It depends on how you began this relationship and the reasons behind it. For example, if you're in a space of feeling lonely and just want companionship, and you meet somebody and they become that person because they filled that void, there's still a potential that now when you heal that void, that this then will disrupt that relationship, because it was never anything that was beyond filling a void, right? And unfortunately, there's a lot of that in the world, because we're all, in a way, not very emotionally intelligent, to the degree where we've prevented that. And that's okay. This is part of evolution in our own lives and, society lives. And I think there's no point beating anybody up about that. We fix it. We heal it. We help each other through, be compassionate through that. That's how we're going to heal it. And that's exactly what energy healing work is. Being kind to yourself and to others, and understanding the reasons, and not beating up anybody regarding these reasons. Keep that in mind, Pisces. Forgive yourself. You've done nothing wrong. And that's what that look that I just gave you was all about. It's like, I feel as though you potentially could have this, if you feel you did something in a negative way, it's going to beat yourself up over it. If you feel like somebody else did it negatively, you're going to, again, negatively impact them, depending on your level of where you're at in your healing process. This card is exactly the same as be gentle with yourself. It's forgiving yourself you've done nothing wrong, and understanding that you or anybody else in situations that you find yourself in terms of love and relationship is coming from a place of love, of vulnerability, of rawness, of humanity. So again, it's nurturing yourself through what you're going through, and I do think you need to understand that you are a human being and that you have feelings, and feelings are sticky and hard and real, and that is what makes this human experience worthwhile. It's what makes this human experience also feel like absolute torture. We're talking from personal experience. So I completely am understanding if you are on any spectrum level of this. But again, being kind to yourself is the guidance here with that. And again, understanding of self is something that is something, Pisces, that you are a pro at. I feel like you could actually just say to yourself, if you looked at yourself, like, I have a very good self-awareness, however I might suppress XYZ for this reason, and that's okay, but now can we change and fix that and heal that, because I no longer want to be in that space anymore. That's the mentality that I'm wanting from you. But take your time in making this decision. Now, this is where I feel I had this insight of relationships not necessarily being where they need to be anymore. Because again, potentially how you got into it or where you're going in this, everybody's different. Some people are still single. Take your time and don't jump into anything. You are still healing, so be kind to yourself if you are single. But if you're in a relationship and you come to this space where you're not sure if it's what you want or whether you want to take the next step to even make this more committed, just take your time to make a decision. There's no rush. I'm going to use marriage as an example. For example, people who want to get married want to get married. But there's no rush. If you marry somebody tomorrow or marry someone in 5 years, you're still going to get married. I am somebody who did jump into marriage and rush into it. I have no regrets at all. It was right for me at that time, and I would not make a different decision either, actually. But now that I've been through all of that and obviously been married, and I see marriage, I guess, differently to how I would have before I got married, I think that realizing that actually if you're going to marry someone, you're going to marry them anyway, and it does not matter if you marry them tomorrow or in 10 years. The idea is that you are just choosing to commit further to that person. That's a really beautiful thing. But again, time is not something that runs out with that. You can marry somebody at 80 and it be just as committing as marrying someone at 20. And in some ways, even more so, because you're committing to something that you know is going to be painful. Because, at 80, one of you hasn't gone as long as the other one potentially. You might not have much time. It's going to be more painful for you and those that you bring into your life. And that's really beautiful too. Time is never something that you have less of, because nobody has guaranteed time clock. We live in the now, we live in the moment. And if now is not the right time, take your time. And I do think that's part of your healing. As I keep saying time, it's really ringing in my brain for me, and that's how I channel things, ringing around saying that time might be something for you to heal on, if maybe you've played about with it too much and not lived in the moment. A lot of us think we live in the moment, but we don't. We have halted and kept things and not enjoyed things. Perhaps you have children that have left home and you realize that I was so worried about X, Y, Z in that time, and I'm not even with those people anymore. Your children are never going to be children again. You're never going to have those experiences again. And that's the same with grandchildren. If you are not enjoying them in this time, like now, you're not guaranteed forever. I'm not saying you're going to die tomorrow, but we all need to have a better perspective of enjoying the moment and the people we have in our lives or could have in our lives if we just chose to appreciate the moment rather than waiting for better circumstances. Food for thought. Final column. Lean on your God and the angels for support. This is really about searching about what your values are and really leaning on your faith. Now, this is not one religion. There is not one religion. There's many religions. So whatever it is to you is personal to you. And my guidance is always very varied in terms of it's not one size fits all. And as I always say, the cards will speak to you as much as I do too. But I'm very universal. I do not just limit any boxes. There's no boxes in this lifetime for humans. We don't fit. Anyway, so this card is basically saying search within on your true values and what is right with you and what aligns with what you believe. This is not about religion. This is not about faith. This is about what you believe and what's right for you and the reasons and the whys. The what, whys, the hows. Lean on that for support. This will guide you in towards what is right and what is meant for you. Shield yourself. This is saying stop worrying about the opinions of others, stop taking on the energy of others, and stop making decisions based on the thoughts, opinions, and energy of other people. This is about you, again, with your belief system, doing what is right for you, and protecting yourself from, again, any negative impact that other opinions from others might have on you. This is in alignment with the guarded and protected and shield yourself. So both of these cards also mean that you are protected during this time in your endeavors. I feel like you do have like a bubble of protection around you. I do want you to start opening yourself up, but this means that we open ourselves up to opportunities and spending time with people that we love and appreciate, but we don't take on the negative impact of that can happen with just having social events. Sometimes we can, like me, if I go out too many days in a row, I then need to rest for a long period of time because, again, I just take on a lot of energy when I'm out and it's exhausting. So I need time to recover. So it's about protecting yourself and knowing your limits and being authentic and own that. I can't go out too many days a week. That's perfectly fine. Don't do that. Do what's right for you in your belief and what's right for you. Final cards. Focus on divine and perfect health is definitely focus on self. This is paired with you are on the right track. So I would say that the best guidance in this column is saying focus on you and doing what is right for you to your own limitations that you want to live by, not that you put on yourself. It's time to actually think about what you do want and living by that as a rule and not by what you're self-imposing that's limiting you. I hope that makes sense. Because I feel like there are limitations you need to be dropping away, but you also need to be setting boundaries and living authentic to what is right for you. This you're on the right path is a nurturing version of you're on the right, you're going the right way. Saying take care, you are guided through this and be kind to yourself. The fact that it is paired with focus on divine and perfect health, it is saying focus on the self and making sure that you are again taking care of you. This could be saying that in terms of health and sickness and health, that kind of thing, to just be making mindful choices and do what you need. Again, everybody's different. This is a collective reading, so whatever your health looks like for you, it's just doing the right things and focusing again on self. Very much for you, Pisces, it is focus on what is good for you and what's going to get you, again, doing the energy healing work. And it's very much the same as energy healing work. So the fact you have both of these in the reading, one is in the relationship column and overall, it's saying what will help you in love and relationships is by making sure that you are your healthy, happiest version of yourself. So it starts with number 1. Thank you guys for being here. Please subscribe to my channel and I'll see you next month. Thank you guys.